look at this thing. This is incredible. It glistens. When you look at the metal and I'm turning it, the metal is smooth. Hey everyone, it's Louis Tuminaro and welcome back to our channel. Today I have some super exciting news for you, okay? We got in a Colt Python in a 3-inch blue. You know, you guys have seen that. We've done tons of stainless guns, you know, whether it's Smith & Wessons or Colts, okay? But we got in today a blue 3-inch Colt Python. So we're going to get into this with you guys. We're going to look at this gun and we're going to show you what we see right out of the box, and then we're going to let you know what it's here for. All right, everybody, this is how we're going to start this video out, is that we're going to take this brand new 2026 Colt Python right out of the box and we're going to take a look and we're going to see what we're getting, okay? So the first thing is that this is a very, very nice gun. I mean, you know, we're big fans of Colt, okay? But you know something? This gun was sent to us for a reason, okay? Because the customer got this gun and was very disappointed in the bluing, okay? So Colt just came out with this process, okay? Because they started the stainlesses first, okay? But when the customer got it, he looked at it and he couldn't even live with it. So what he wanted to do was to send it to us and do all the metal prep to make this look like, say, an early 80s or 70s Colt Python. So let's look real carefully into the bluing. Now we're going to go slow. I'm going to move the gun back and forth, and I want you to see, okay, on the cylinder, like what you're looking at there. Okay, now that's there. Like, I'm taking my finger, wiping it. It's all still there. It's on every chamber, okay? Everybody's very concerned about rounded corners and things like that. Well, you know, all the corners are soft. You know, they're nice. Okay, so what my take is on this, okay, is this. New production gun, okay? So Colt has to be very, very careful at where they're going to mark this gun price-wise. So where they decide to market price-wise is how much time and so on they can put into this gun. The thing is this isn't the 60s and 70s and 80s anymore. Okay, labor is a lot more money. Okay, all the original Pythons were hand crafted and literally, you know, hands-on. People polishing them, sanding them by hand. All right, well, here at the custom shop, that's what we do. And you know what's funny is that a lot of people don't even want to do what we do. Because I have to admit, like, you guys have seen our videos, it's a pain in the neck. Like, it really is. Like, you gotta make everything perfect, and it's hard, okay? So if you're making 30 or 40 or 50,000 of these a year, or however many you're making, okay, you'll never get them out to the public like that, okay, if you're still going back to the ways that they used to be done. All right, so, you know, Colt decided to bring back the Python, which was a great thing, okay? And they're trying to go back and retro all the guns that they used to make. But what we're going to have to do is take this particular revolver, break it down, strip it, do all the metal work to it like we even would on a polished gun. Then we're going to go to our bluing tanks. We're going to blue it, and then what we're going to get is what I think the customer was hoping for. Colt did nothing wrong. This is a great gun. Mechanically, it's phenomenal. Okay, but for the price point, like if people wanted the old Python, this would be $1,500 more than what they paid for it already. And it was probably $1,500 to begin with. All right, so we're going to break this down. I just wanted to show everybody and tell everybody that Colt is doing nothing wrong by the finishes that they put on here. Okay, but a lot of people, when they're buying these, are expecting these to look like the 70s and 80s Pythons. Well, they're not. But on this one, we're going to make it look that way. Okay, so now let's do the breakdown. There we go. I'll use a razor blade to get in between here so I don't damage anything. Okay, and I just pry it a little bit and it just pops right off. The because these are pressed on. They're pretty tight. I could probably push this one now with my hand. Okay, and that one's off. Alrighty, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the cylinder. Cylinder ring. That's how we know the gun is safe right from the get-go. 2 side plate screws. Okay, side plate. New production gun. Comes off really easy. Watch this. No tools. Look at that. See that? Now I have to say, on an older Python, because a lot of these were hand fitted and filed, okay, you'd have to pry this off, okay? But with the new production, it comes off really nice and easy. Main spring. Hand. Rebound lever. Hammer. Trigger. Look at that, huh? I didn't even have to grab my tweezers to take that out. It just popped out. But I'm going to show you guys anyway. It went right in here. Okay, we're going to take out the cylinder bolt spring and the cylinder bolt. This over here, I got to kind of play with it a little bit to get it out. Okay. Cylinder bolt. Okay, so now we have all the internals out of the gun. All right, now we're going to take the sights off. Just goes right in, nice and easy. Colt did a great redesign on this gun. They did a really, really good job. They did. They beefed up the frame. No more timing issues and so on and so forth. These are great revolvers. Okay, I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. There you go. You can hear it coming out. Take our screwdriver. There you go. Okay, so now what we're left with, okay, is going up front and taking out your cylinder bolt pin, your trigger pin, and your hammer pin. All right, so we're going to pop those out. You guys seen me do them before on the stainless. Let's go up front, and you'll watch me do them on the blued gun. Okay, everybody, so we're over here right now, and we're at our press, and we're going to knock these pins out. So I already went ahead, and I took a bunch of brass punches and put the proper heads on them that I think that we're going to need. So this way here, we don't have to take forever to do this. There we go. Centered on that pin. That is on there. All right, let's try this again, guys. I mean, I've never had a pin that hard in there before. Okay, let's try this one more time. Now, if you guys watch this, look at this. Look at this. Look at how bent that is. All right, and the thing is, if you don't take these pins out, when you go to do the metal prep on here, it's going to look horrible. Next punch. Let's try this one. Got a little bit of a beefier head on it. Let's see what we can do with this. And I'm glad you guys are able to watch this because nothing is ever one and done. This is like a typical normal day with this happening. Let's try it again. Still not out. Okay, so far we have these two. Look at that, being out like that. All right, this one's still okay, but I need to make it a little bit smaller because it's gotten fat in a little bit. So let me reshape this and we'll put it right back on. All right, guys, we're gonna go again. But this is what we're gonna do. We are going to, because this pin is in there so tight, we are going to use a steel punch, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll just reface the pin again, which is no big deal. I've done them a million times. Let's just get that right where I want it. Let's try it that way. See that? We got it. Man, I gotta say that was probably one of the toughest pins that I have ever taken out of a Colt. Okay, I want you guys to look at the top of that pin. If you look at it, it's got the smallest little indentation on the very, very top. No big deal, okay, because we have to repolish these anyway. So I just want to let you know, though, that we got this out. No damage, no nothing. Let's take the rest of them out. Ah, look at that. Right out. No problem. Thank goodness. Got a little bit of brass on there. No big deal. It just comes right off. There you go. There's the second one, and we got one more to go. And this is normally the hardest one because it's barely going through the surface here. Believe me, I get nervous doing this too. You know, of course, you don't ever want anything to happen, but it's part of the job. See that? Look how tiny this is. Let's push some pressure down. I'm just hoping that the tip doesn't push over. See that? It pushed over. So if you guys look, okay, look at the tip of that now. Okay, so we're gonna have to do something different. So we're gonna put in a flat, and I have this one slightly domed. So we're gonna push down and break it at least. Now if you look, you'll see a space between the punch and the frame. You see that little space? All right, we're gonna push down, and we're gonna hope that that pin drops a little bit. That's as far as we wanna go. There's a little bit of flex, and when we look, nothing. That pin didn't go anywhere. So this one's fighting us again too. So now we're gonna have to go to a steel punch. Okay guys, this is what we're gonna go with. Now this is every day, like, you know, we're not pretending here. Like, this is what's happening, and like, to me, this is worst case scenario, me doing this the whole entire time. Okay, but you know, we have to get through it. We got to do the job, so we're gonna do it. So I have this steel punch, and it's just small enough, okay, because we've used it before doing this, and we're gonna have to make sure that we get it centered and push down right there on that pin. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this to where we think it's centered. All right, let's try it. Thank goodness. For me to hear that sound is amazing. No damage to the gun whatsoever. I've done this a ton of times, but I do have to say, this is worst case scenario. This is like the one that you never want to happen. There we go. Okay, so we just got our pin out. If you look at it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it looks good. Still, no problems with that whatsoever. But I do have to say that these three were probably some of the hardest pins that I had to pull on a revolver. So now let's go to the back and let's go to our stripping process. Okay, so now that all the parts are broken down on this gun, all right, we are going to now put this, and I have this set up to put in a glass flat tray so that like we can literally show you guys this thing stripping, okay? We might put a time lapse on it just so you can see, all right, but this is just a small version. I normally have a big tub that I'll put these in, but we're gonna put these out so that you guys can see what we're doing. Okay, so I got the 3-inch Python completely broken down, and now we're gonna take this and we're gonna put this into our bluing remover, okay? And then we're gonna show you guys just how long this is gonna take, and we're doing it this way just so we can show you guys for entertainment purposes, okay? So let me go and put these in. Okay, I don't need gloves. This is not gonna harm anybody. Just wanna get them in. It's important that everything is submerged. So this way here, there's no etching on any of the metal. So we'll just put these in here. There we go. Okay, all the parts are in. I'm just gonna wash my hands. This is biodegradable, what I'm using. All right, so it's no big deal. I'm just gonna wash my hands, and then you guys can watch this turn white. Hey everyone, we're done with the stripping. I want you guys to look at this over here. We put them in this glass tray so you can see this. And now all of the factory bluing is off of every part. So we're just gonna wash all these up. We'll get them back on the bench and then we'll go over the metal quality. Okay everybody, so we just took the Python out of the stripper. I have to say that this is a great process because when you have a blued gun, you know, we want to get all of the bluing off. So I want you guys to come over here and take a look. And this is what the Python looks like now in the raw. Okay, so it turns like a kind of a gray colored, you know, just raw steel, but everything is off. Like there's no bluing left whatsoever on this revolver. So when I'm looking at the metal quality, okay, and then we're gonna have our camera guy here take a look, okay, and see if he can see in through the metal. Like there's a bunch of lines coming up and down, and I could see them through the bluing. And now that the bluing is off, I hope you guys can get all the lines going down through the metal. And those are just machine marks. You know, I have to say that when I took this out of the solution and took a look at it, the finish is pretty nice on here. Like, you know, this is nice. But this is what's going to happen, okay? So I want to go into the polishing room with you guys. Now, we're not going to go through, and we're going to show you guys some quick polishings, but like you guys seen us polish these before. So whether I'm polishing a bright stainless or polishing this raw steel for a blue finish, the polishing is still the polishing. I have to go all the way to this high level to get the bluing, once I, you know, to get this metal texture, and then making this thing look like this amazing Colt Royal Blue that everybody loves so much. So let's go into the polishing room and let me show you guys, and I want you guys to see, okay, like how hard it is for me to do this, and you can see the difference between the raw steel and the polished. We'll show you back over on here because it's just easier, okay? Okay, guys, so what we're going to do is we are going to hit the polisher on and put some compound on the wheel, and let's see what we're working with. Now look at that, okay? So now we're looking at the raw steel, and now we're looking at the polished steel. Now when I'm actually looking through this, I don't even think you guys are going to be able to see it, but I am seeing some marks in the metal. So we are going to have to even work on this a little bit more, but for the most part this is coming up nice. Let's do a couple different areas and see again what we're working with. You know, this is the handwork. This is the hard work right here. All right, but I think Colt did a great job on the finish that they did because their metal that they use is a very, very good quality, okay? So it's really not that porous, which I expected it to be more porous. And I think that this is going to be able to look just like an earlier model Python when we're done with it. I don't think that I need to go through every polishing phase with you, but what we are going to do, which is really exciting, is that once we get this all polished and everything polished out, which we will show you though, then we're going to go down and we're going to blue this at our bluing tanks. And we have some amazing bluing tanks. So you guys will get to see the process of that also, the assembly and so on. So we'll have great befores, great afters, but it's time to hit the benches. So we're hitting all the parts right now. I'm just wanting to really look at the surface areas of all of these parts. I can see them a lot better if I just go up to the buffer and take a little bit of the surface off, and wow, look what we got here. So this is when I realize, okay, that this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was. We're going to have to go in, sand this gun from 220 grit all the way up to 3000 grit. This is a lot of work. Hey everyone, so after a grueling day and a half of being on the benches, sanding from 220, which I didn't think we were going to have to go down that far, all the way up to a 3000 grit, and then spending, I can't tell you how many hours in the polishing room. We've got now this Python to where we want it. So I have everything in bags. So when I'm done finaling a gun, when I say finally, clean, done, ready to go, glass beaded, we put them in plastic, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll take them now in plastic so they can't get contaminated. No fingerprints, no nothing. All right, so now every single part that's blue. All right, none of these parts, these are just all internals. But everything that now is blue, we are going to bring them to our bluing tanks. Okay, and wait until you guys see our bluing tanks. I mean, we've done them on TV before, but you guys are really going to enjoy them. So until then, we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay guys, we're back and we're here at our other shop, okay? And this is where our bluing tanks are. This is a really unique set of bluing tanks. They're made by a company called BLUING. These are professional bluing tanks. This is not like something that you have in your shed or things like that, okay? And they're electric, so they hold heat amazingly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this Python now. We have everything wired, and we're gonna take them. All right, and then we are going to put them in our cleaner, okay? We'll let them sit in the cleaner for about 15 minutes, okay? We'll come back into the water, we'll cool them, okay? And then we're gonna go right here into our bluing tank. It's gonna sit in there for about 30 minutes. Then we're just gonna take it, we're gonna rinse it again, and then we're gonna put them into our quick seal oil. So that is basically the whole project, the whole entire process. We'll let you guys just watch, enjoy. It's a lot of fun. It's really, really cool. And we'll see you next when they're out, and then we'll get them back on the bench for assembly. All right, everybody, so we just got back from the stock shop, and that's where we have our bluing tank, because we have a couple of facilities, and we just took and laid everything out on the bench. When I say this, and this is really exciting, is that when I give this a quick glance, I have to say that this looks like a 1980s 3-inch Colt Python. Okay, I mean, just when you look at the finish, the finish is identical now to what the the older Pythons look like. So on the earlier Pythons, we would normally blue, okay, the hammer like this, and then what we would do is we would take off right from about this edge and take off completely on the sides, and we would brush these right back down to the steel on both sides. Okay, but these don't come that way. I have to say though that these are like, everything is gloss black, like gorgeous. I mean, when you're looking at all these parts, they're just, they came out so good. I am so happy. You used to be able to look through this cylinder and there was just like, it looked like orange peel, like on a new production car. Well, same thing with the gun. Now when you're looking into the cylinder, all right, it's just gloss. It's like black chrome, that's what it looks like. Our bluing tanks do a really, really good job. I'm really getting excited to put this back together and to see what this looks like. But I hope you guys are enjoying the ride here. This, I would have to say, is a lot of work. For me to do these all day long would be absolutely exhausting. We had to start this gun at 220 grit because the orange peel was that bad on the metal. And no discount to Colt whatsoever, okay, but for us to make these guns look like this, we had to take these to almost a 3,000 grit. So all of the, like the horse and everything, they're perfect. I have to say that on the newer production guns, the points are not as sharp like as the older Pythons, okay? Everything is a hair rounded. I'm gonna start putting it together and then let's show you guys what this thing's gonna look like when it's all done. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna start with, all right, is we are going to put the cylinder bolt in. And again, you guys have seen me do these, so I'm not gonna talk too much. I'm just gonna video us putting this together because you guys seen us put together so many Pythons in the past. Oh, we also glass bead at the top and the barrel, just like the factory. Okay, how do you like that? First try. Just make sure it's in. There we go. Okay, I'm looking for that little divot that I had in there, which I see it right now. And we're going to stick this right in here like that. Going to put our Z-spring in. There we go. Now I didn't have to use anything to pry this plate off because the tolerances are just a little bit bigger. They're a little bit larger than the earlier Python, so we should be able to just take this and set this right back down on there again. Just like that. Let's put on our sights. Now on the older Pythons, the rib was glass beaded and the underlug was glass beaded. But on the newer Pythons, they were polished. So we even had to do the metal prep on the topsy here and here, all right, because, you know, we had to make them shiny like the rest of the gun. So we're going to put the screw in. Put the spring. I'm going to put a dab of grease just right in here. That's it. I'm going to go backwards until I feel it lock, and then I'll go in. Now we're going to use our proper punch. Can't forget this little washer. Okay, I'll put that right in there. And we'll make sure that it sits flat. And we'll put the spring in. Now on this cylinder, you guys can see how bright it is, but on the front of it, because it was so orange palish, and I do not want to be sanding on the front of this to change the head spacing of the revolver. So I just put a brush finish on this. It hides a lot, okay, and it does look really nice. And I did the same in the back. Okay, now on the older Pythons, okay, the ratchet right here, I would have to take the bluing back off. That's how it was. But on this gun, they're not that way. So we're doing it the exact same way. And I have the same finishes on the ratchet as I do on the back of the cylinder. So they look like they're one. We also polished the ejector rod. I even polished the tip of the ejector rod, everything. I'm going to put it in. The old cylinder rings, got to go back. Okay, now for the finishing touches. I took the grip screw and polished the grip screw. Even did the sides. So now the screw will look just like the rest of the gun. Okay, we're going to snug. Not too tight. I'm going to go get a rag and I'm going to wipe this down. I wanted you guys to see that I took this out. And then I'm going to wipe off a part of the gun, like let's use the barrel, just say, okay? And I want you guys to look at this and see what I'm saying. Like, you know, like when you look at this, this is incredible. But I don't know if the amount of work that it's going to take for everyone to want to do this, people are going to want to pay, because I have a lot of time into this. And I will say this though, this is a beautiful python, man. Wow. Look at this thing. Like, it glistens. When you look at the metal and I'm turning it, the metal is smooth. It's not porous anymore. Doesn't have lines in it anymore. Like this right here looks like, say, a 3-inch California combat python. This is what it looks like. I need you guys to know that on these videos, like, this stuff's not easy to do, but I enjoy it. Look at the pins. The pins are perfect. All the lettering, perfect. I know a lot of people don't like this barcode. I had a call earlier today. Somebody is sending me their gun. They want to take off the barcode. They just can't live with it. You know, if that's the case, that's fine. But that over there is for Colt. That barcode is not for the public. It's for Colt to see when this gun was made, who worked on this gun, when it left the factory, so on and so forth. So, you know, me, I'd leave it on. It doesn't bother me. You know, even though I'm a purist. Anybody looking to get their guns done, restored, we are in the business of taking and doing high polishes, meaning on rifles, Weatherbys, Brownings, Colt Sours, all guns with high gloss finishes. All the finishes that nobody wants to do and put all the time into, except for the wackos like me. All right, guys, I'm going to take this and we're going to show you this in a better light right now. But here's your Colt 3-inch blued new production python. I hope everybody loves this. I don't think I mean, guys, I want you to know something. This is the first one that I did. Okay, so meaning that this being the first one that I did is that I called up my friend over at Colt and I asked him, I said, hey, are these stainless guns encoded in that bluing, or are these steel guns, okay, and then blued? I had to know before I touched this gun. And he told me that this is, you know, steel, and that we can strip it and that we can blue it. So I had to do that because I didn't want to go through all of the effort and then to find out that I couldn't blue the gun. So I did my homework. Thank you for watching, guys, and keep watching some of our other videos, okay? Subscribe, like, and we're having a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying myself doing this. Thank you.